Sagittarius, hello, I'm Amanda. Welcome to Unseen Hands Healing. This is going to be your small story reading for the middle of November here. So with the small story readings, they're different from the big shift readings, which are really looking at the overall month for you. It's more of a smaller glimpse into what might be going on for you. And for these readings, I wait for a book off of my shelf to speak to me that has a message for you. I turn to a random passage and I start the reading with that passage, and that will start us off before I pull cards to expand on the story, right? So today, the book that wanted to come out for you, Sag, is one of my favorites from my bodywork days. It's called Move Your DNA by Katie Bowman. Highly recommend. Highly recommend. It's life-changing. But I'm not gonna get on that soapbox, but what I am gonna do is point this chapter out to you that wanted to come through for your passage. It's called Transitioning Well. And since I'm thinking about the fact that we got, okay, transitioning well and move your DNA, I'm getting already something here, Sag, whoever I'm picking up on, there's something about, there's a huge shift that perhaps your life is calling you to, like an entirely new way of being in the world that could even feel like a shift in your very DNA. And with that movement, that kind of change, that kind of shift, it's really important to transition well. Let me read this to you. First, she starts off with a quote by Robert Ingersoll, and it says, "In nature, there are neither rewards nor punishments, there are consequences." I love it. Ugh, gets me so good. In nature, there are neither rewards nor punishments, right? We're not in a universe of punishment for doing something wrong or not doing something, or rewards for doing something right. There's just consequences. There's actions and consequences. And here's what it says. This is Katie Bowman speaking, by the way. "I am a super huge fan of the minimal footwear movement, but I am completely surprised at the failure of the barefoot minimal footwear community to regularly produce physiological guidelines on how to transition out of conventional footwear, as though the tissues in our feet were somehow different from those found in the rest of our bodies when it comes to adaptation, adapting to a new environment. When you decide you want to run a marathon, you don't jump off your couch and start with a 20-mile run. I mean, most people wouldn't even consider jumping out of bed to sleep on the floor. They'd be so worried about their back or their neck throbbing the whole next day. Yet people everywhere have gotten rid of their shoes despite decades of wearing them, and they've started running in minimal footwear without doing a lick of foot training. Of course, many have transitioned just fine. Unfortunately, many haven't. Even more unfortunately, it's only the injured folks who have taken their fractured bones and inflamed fascia to the podiatrist office, reinforcing much of the medical community's data set with respect to minimal footwear and injury. In the following chapters, I highlight missing behaviors like barefoot time, squatting, walking on natural terrain, and hanging and swinging from your arms. I'm going to explain how the mechanical environments created by these activities are essential, and I'm hoping to do such a good job explaining that you'll want to go and do all of these things immediately. But I'm going to ask that you don't, and here's why. Your current body is totally unequipped to adapt without injury. Or maybe you can muscle through a lot of it, but generate a bunch of compensating mechanisms, mental programs that make it harder for you to find your reflexive strength. And what she means by that is just your natural response, unconscious strength response. I don't want to discourage you from working diligently. I only want to encourage smart training practices, which include small increases in loading behaviors in order to adapt correctly. If you throw down this book and head out to hike 5 miles of rugged terrain while wearing your 5-fingered shoes and carrying a kid on one arm and a deer carcass on the other shoulder, you're going to be hurting the next day, and maybe for the next few months. Extreme soreness has become a celebrated experience in our culture, but pain is often an indication you've gone too far too fast. By applying basic exercise science principles, you should be able to improve your health while doing while undoing old adaptations without injury. This is everything, Sag. You know, I love it when like super amazing poetry or, you know, like fictional, beautiful soliloquy texts come forward for these small stories, but sometimes you just need the bare ass truth, you know, and that's sort of what seems to be coming through for you here, Sag. The message is very clear. One step at a time. Whoever I'm picking up on, you may be going through this really big and really positive transition, but don't try to run before you can walk. You know, don't go too far, too fast because you're Sag and you're enthusiastic and you're ready to go all in right now on this shift, this change, this idea. And it's like, whoa. You move that fast, you run the risk of injuring yourself, or at the very least, working from compensatory mechanisms instead of getting down to the natural rhythm of things and letting things unfold organically within you. This is all about you. This is all about your physical, emotional, mental, spiritual experience during this transition. Transitioning well. That's what this is about. I'm into it. Let's go to the cards. We're using the Slow Holler deck today. Shuffle a couple more times for you here, Sag. Okay. Asking now for Sagittarius, what does this small story help to unpack this idea of transitioning well? Great. Oh yeah. Oh. Okay. All right. Okay. Here's what we got. Oh, beautiful. Yeah. Here you are, Sag, the Page of Wands, or in this deck, the Student of Branches, the Student of Fire, Hermit, and the Kindred, also known as the Empress. So I'll let you see all of these cards individually as we go through, but this is what we're working with here. So we're starting off with your energy, which is just so beautiful, the Student of Branches. Here you are, Sag. You're enthusiastic. You're ready to go. You got your back pocket full of messages. You got all your stuff collected. And you're the student energy, you know, you're ready to apply what you've learned and really go after things in a passionate way. Because we're looking at fire. This person is trying to bridge the gap. She's like, okay, I'm over here on this side and I really want to get over there. So I'm just going to go ahead and build this bridge. And that's amazing, you know, this is why, Sagittarius, you're incredible, because you're like, I see the way over here and I've got the gumption to do it and the fire to do it, you know, the creativity to do it, the passion to do it, the energy. And I'm just going to go ahead and do it. Let me just jump in with both feet. Get to work on this, bridging this gap. It's like you're trying to create the walkway for yourself. Oh, it's like, I want to get here, but I can't. There's no way to get across. Oh, well, I guess I'll have to go hike down the other side. No, not Sagittarius. Sagittarius is like, or we could just build a bridge. You know, let's just build a bridge. Let's do something innovative. Let's make a path where none was previously there. This is where you're at, Sag. It's a really interesting headspace. I'm really digging it. But again, there's that enthusiasm to just get going and just go ahead and do it and jump in with 10 feet and just like, yes, you know? And then because where you're going, I think what you're trying to bridge the gap to is Kindred, is Empress energy. You know, Kindred is like the sense of home and a feeling of family. It's like that's what's waiting for you on the other side. Is this like luscious, abundant energy? It's Venus energy. There's so much going on in this Kindred card, but it's all light and it's all gold and it's all like really beautiful. It's just a plethora of wealth and love. You know, we've got like a little family huddled together in this den, all close to one another. We've got the cow, which is like this beautiful sacred animal. The squirrels are paired up. There's flowers everywhere. The kitchen is full. There's like every cast iron you could ever need to make delicious meals. You know, this is totally Venus. Here's the family cuddled up here, nice and warm. Squirrels up here. You know, this is what you're trying to get to. You're really trying to build this sense of home for yourself, but for some reason there's something currently separating you from it. It's like over here, and you're really just trying to bridge the gap, and you're so enthusiastic, you're just like full speed ahead. But the Hermit, I'll show you this again. The Hermit is in between. The Hermit, it's interesting because it even looks like this. You know, the Student of Vessels has a hat, or the Student of Branches has a hat, and so does the Hermit, which is kind of interesting. Gold hat, gold hat. The Hermit is in between. The Hermit is what the energy you're being called into as you make this journey of bridging the gap, which is interesting because it's not the Eight of Wands. You know, it's not like fast, fiery forward movement. It's the Hermit. It's slowing down, coming into stillness, going within, reflecting. It's the Virgo card. Virgo is all about connecting with the body. What does my body need? Moving at your own pace. Letting things incubate for as long as they need to, without feeling like you have to rush forward. Yes, the beautiful mountains are all in the distance, but you're cool chilling here in this egg because you know your body needs more time. Or you need more time. Your spirit needs more time. Whatever that is, however that applies to you, Sag. It's like you're honing your fire down into this smaller focus rather than it blazing out of control. You're really intentionally focusing that fire right here, right at your heart, and you're looking to that flame. You're saying, okay, I'm listening, right? Listening to the still small voice inside of you, rather than trucking over that by just going right to running a marathon. This Hermit mode is often what we go into when we are in a period of transition. And this whole thing is about transitioning well. The way, you know, everybody transitions differently. You're being asked, but it's often, I will say it's often through this Hermit energy, okay? And it makes sense because Virgo falls right at a very transitional time in the seasons, which is, at least, you know, in the wheel of the year, Virgo being the end of August into most of September. That's when we're transitioning into the fall. We're transitioning here into a slower pace from the heat of the summer. And so it is a mutable sign. It is very, very much in the in-between. And so when you're in these in-between stages like that, it's like the Hermit calls you to be very present to be present with yourself in that in-between, rather than trying to end game. Rather than trying to just go ahead and get to the other side as quickly as possible. I know you're faster than that. I know you're quick. I know you're smart. And I know you got a ton of energy to do it. But you're being asked to bring it in. Take it slow. Really listen to your body every step of the way. It's a big, what I'm feeling for the Sag energy that I'm picking up on, it's a huge ask. It's a huge change of pace. Okay. Wow. Sag, this is such a beautiful message. So I'm going to keep pulling cards into an extended reading. We're going to ask, get some clarity on what is this kindred about? What is this? Why is the gap here? And how are you trying to bridge this? What exactly is this? What does hermit mode look like for you? And then what's on the other side of that? Okay, so we're going to dig into this a little more. So if we get some specifics about exactly what this scenario, this story is in your life. So if you're interested in that, stick around. There will be a little preview for that small story extended reading. If you're into it, if it's vibing with you, click the description, the link in the description box below, and that's going to take you over to Vimeo where you can view this extended reading instantly. Okay, so Sag, thank you so much for tuning in. I really appreciate it. If you haven't checked out your November Big Shift reading, I highly recommend it. All right, it'll be linked up here for you, so go check that out. And I hope you're having a great Mercury retrograde, if there is such a thing, which I actually believe that there is. I've been having a pretty solid one so far. Knock on all the wood. All right, so take care, Sag, the rest of Scorpio season, and I'll see you soon. It's like the key. You're this is the forward movement you're wanting. You're wanting to meet someone who seems to have the key to your heart. That's Melanie songs coming in my head. I got a brand new pair of roller skates. You got a brand new key. I think that we should get together and try them out. You see, that's the thing, is you got the key to my roller skates. You know what I mean? It's you got the key to my heart. That's what you want. You want to find that. And then, baby, we got the keys to each other, and we can take that leap of faith together. I think that's really what this is about. Kindred. You want to find your kindred. But I want to point out that Strength and the Chariot both came out in reverse. And what this is telling me is maybe you're not ready.